Hey there, fellow looters and scavengers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Rad's Guide to Project Zomboid, Episode 22, Roadside Wonders. Because we have urban-focused zombie spawning, if I needed to make camp, like let's say I couldn't get home, there's just not a lot of zombies out here. I wouldn't necessarily want to... If I had to choose between sleeping in the van or sleeping in a tent outside, I probably still would sleep in the van. One strategy that you can do is sleep in the passenger seat and drive the van up so that it's against a wall, ideally, for the passenger seat. But the reason it would be in the passenger seat is if zombies do wake you up, you can switch from passenger seat to driver's seat. So any damage that they've done to the passenger window to try to get at you doesn't matter, because then you swap quickly to the driver's side seat and the damage to that window is negated, or not negated, but like you can ignore it. So that would be the big reason to go to sleep in the passenger rather than the driver's side. Because in the driver's side, you know, if they wake you up and they're almost able to break through the window, by the time you get the car started and foot on the accelerator, they might break into the window and hurt you. And then you're dead. So this is the turn for March Ridge, and I don't want to have to fight more than I need to. So the idea here is to try to ditch my wake, the zombie train. March Ridge is not my favorite place to drive into, because it's there's like one way in and out, which can get full of zombies, and that's annoying. And it's pretty dense. It's like building on top of building on top of building, which means that there's not a lot of wiggle room to ditch hordes, as you'll see. So in this situation, I may drive past the VHS store and just say, yeah, it's not worth it. I came, I scouted, it sucked, I'm leaving. But as you can see, it's a bunch of subdivision development plots on top of one another. So the zombie density and population is annoying. And it's hard to ditch them because of how thickly populated it is. So I can try to drive into the woods a little bit and like lose some of the zombies that have been following me. But I'm getting pretty close to the VHS store, and you know, if I parked right now, I would probably have to kill like 200 zombies just to get some videotapes. That might be worth it for some, but if this is a new player guide, for new players, I would say that is arguably not worth it. So the VHS store is this single-story building here, where my mouse is circling. And I think I'll try it, but knowing that, like, if I was a new player, I wouldn't, because there's just a lot of zombies. All right, best thing I could do right now is to take my beta blockers so that my panic goes down. Where are sets? Thank you for the resub. Thanks for swinging by. Leaving the van running so that I can flee if I need to quickly. Even though leaving the van running makes noise and possibly has them gather. If I need to, what I could do is, yeah, as you can see, they're really coming in now. I can yell and draw them away from the van, because if I'm like yelling at them, they're going to be attracted to me, the yeller, more than like a low hum of an engine, to draw them away and then circle back to the van. But you can see why March Ridge, I'm also getting exerted. March Ridge is like not the sexiest spot ever. So there's like 8 zombies near the van, there's probably 28 following me right now, and my character's already a little tired. And I'm no closer to getting to the VHS store. Another strategy that I can try to demonstrate here is to intentionally lure these zombies away and then lose them. That might be easier than actually killing them all. is to drag them up in the woods and, like, ditch them. And then circle back when they're no longer following me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to intentionally walk past some of these groups here and see if I can demonstrate this. This is not always easy to do. It really depends on the geography of where you're moving and whether or not you have good line of sight blockers and doors you can open and close. I am not going to go blindly into a building, though, because if I enter this building and there's a swarm, I'll have a swarm behind me and a swarm in front of me, and that's a pretty deadly combo. But one way to ditch groups like the one that I have following me, because there's some of the zombies, as you can see, got stuck on that taxi cab, and I'm already ditching them. And it's actually kind of annoying because I would rather have them follow me. But you can walk around buildings, because if you break line of sight and sound from zombies for about 30 seconds or so, they sort of forget that you exist. So a large enough building that has a large enough footprint, if I make sure that they're following me and sprint ahead and then, like, ditch them, they forget that I was there, and I will have dragged them a few hundred meters away from my target, meaning that it will be easier for me to clean up the rest of the zombies that remain at the VHS store and loot it. So I don't usually sprint, but at this point what I want to do is I want to break the line of sight with those zombies. And of course, this does risk the fact that, like, there might be more zombies just ahead, and I have worn myself out, so it is a bit of a gamble. But the gamble is that I have ditched more zombies than I have acquired, allowing me to get some progress in. But it looks like, yeah, there's still the tail end of the group. Let me stop eating so I can... And you can circle around buildings multiple times in order to try to get the wiggle room needed. Another thing is, if you're like a burglar and you have fuel on you, you can always hotwire cars, make sure that the car has enough hood, engine, and tire durability and condition to run zombies over, but you can also run them over. A well-maintained car can easily kill 100, 150 zombies before it really breaks. But I am going to do something risky here, where even though I'm exerted, I'm going to sprint and try to use this cluster of trees to break line of sight with the things that are chasing me, and then ditch them so that I have fewer zombies I have to clear for... and actually, this isn't the VHS. The VHS is one building to my southwest, which actually works better because there'll be fewer zombies around me, I think. So that's the VHS there. So I'm exerted and a little panicked. I can manage the panic. But I think I have a lot fewer zombies chasing me than I did before. I don't know how well it worked. Once the dust from this group has settled, I'll assess. It looks like I only have 2 or 3 stragglers now. So instead of having to kill like 150, I just have to kill like 10. Because most of the ones that were blocking me from getting to where I wanted to go have been dispatched. Not bad. Right. This is, I would not say as a new player do this, but I'm going to sit on the ground and spin around to make sure nothing's coming up on me, so that I can exert myself and get a little rest. And Chief Talk, thank you for the resub too. Alright, there are some zombies that are potentially coming my way. No, they haven't seen me. They just were shambling my direction. Okay, the exertion warning has gone away. I'm still close to being exerted, but... So the building that I want is this one. And I want to get in there, loot, and get out with as little effort as possible, right? Like, I don't want to have to kill swarms if I can help it. So let's see if I can't draw a few away from the crowd here. Kill them, kill the remainder, and then quietly get into the building. But the point that I was hoping to make there is sometimes the brute force approach is not a good one. I saw that I was dramatically outnumbered. I mean, I'm always outnumbered, but I was really, really outnumbered. It was bad. There was a lot more zombies than I would care to kill. And it was just a lot easier for me to lure them away. I'm going to throw away these military boots. They don't have holes in them yet, but they're damaged. And I put on that construction worker had military desert boots, which are less insulated, but still is protective, which allows me to not be overheated as easily. So if it's just these 4, I can live with that. I don't want to pull the second group. Because at some point, knowing that the power's going out, I want to get home and turn generators on and prepare to lose power. So I don't want to be messing around in March Ridge away from home. Case in the joint. No obvious alternative route out. There is a office and a door here. I can see it barely. So I just don't know. That door leads to an alleyway, and alleyways are very easy to get full of enemies where you can't pass by them. So open up the track sheet. Exposure Survival 7. Do I need it? Yes. So Exposure Survival 7, as you can see, is a forging tape. So I have a forging tape. Cool. Did I actually pick that up? Yes. Okay. Let's mark that down. Done. Woodcraft 4, I don't own, so it has already paid off. I'll make leveling up a little bit easier. Now, the higher level you get, the less effective these tapes are, because you need a lot more experience. Oh, there was 7. You need a lot more experience to get from like 5 to 6 than you need to get from 1 to 2. So the higher level you go, the more grind it is, skill-wise. I already have tape 4. Let's check this back wall. I just grabbed Exposure Survival 7, so I don't need that. Woodwork 5. Cool. Man, I am getting really lucky. This is like streamer luck. So the only Woodcraft tape I don't have is episode 1 now. That is the only one. Cook Show 5. Check. So the only tapes I really need is Exposure 2 and 3, Cook Show 6 and 7, and Woodcraft 1. That's a pretty short list. Cook 4, I have. Wood 2, I have. Chief Dog, thank you for the bits, too. Exposure 3, nice. Exposure 3 is a farming tape. One of the only. Actually, the only farming tape of the normal VHS. So if I want to level up farming, that's really handy to have. I think a zombie in the back room knows I'm here. Okay, that's all the tapes up front. I can check counters and I can check the back. Can you reuse them? If you die, yes. You only get benefits from watching them once, but if your character dies and then you get back to your collection, then you can use them, I guess, more than once. So that attack is at the alleyway door. So now we're in the back room with some more tapes. I chose, if you're wondering, not to pop open that back door, because it's one zombie that's attacking the door, but that doesn't mean there's one zombie there. So unless it's just not worth me opening up that can of worms, because I don't know how deep the can of worms goes. And there was no tapes here. I'm going to dismantle the computer. It's a pretty good experience. And then I'll get going. I would say it's pretty successful. I got 6 tapes out of that. Could have been worse. And I definitely want to get going before that door breaks. Because as soon as that door breaks, my path out is cut off. So, very much the situation of like, don't waste time. Get moving. Okay. At this point, let's also do the... I don't think that these TVs have tapes in them really ever. This is a nice TV though, it's a premium. It'd be a shame if someone dismantled it. And because I'm trying to grind the electrical experience, it's worth it. Alright, so I was seen or heard or whatever. That's fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let them climb over and then just ditch them. I came for what I was after. There was only one zombie on my car. Because the car really just doesn't make a lot of noise. So it's not generally, unless like whole swarm gets attracted to your car, they don't, it's pretty rare that you get bogged down in that way. And now I'm out. And before I leave, let's mark it down. So, it was, oh God, what building? It's this building? This, yeah, it's this. This looks wrong. But, yeah, let's say it was that building. We're done. And we're safe. And I had the lovely opportunity to demonstrate how to ditch a horde. To make... Because if I didn't ditch the horde, you know, I would still be killing zombies and not looting tapes. And I was here for tapes and not zombies. But yeah. Ditch the horde, loot the building, and get out. Clean. And that sort of technique, I will say, like, does take practice. Of just... And some luck, too, right? Like, I could have easily rounded that building, having ditched the horde that was chasing me, only to stumble into a bear horde, and I would have been more tired as a result. So it doesn't always work. Luckily... the player's walk speed is faster than a shambler's walk speed, so you can always walk away from anything. So if it's like 2 overrun, and even if you ditch your car, you can still walk away from a car, right? You can't walk away from death. So do everything you can to avoid combat situations that will kill you, even if it means ditching good loot, or a vehicle, or even a base. You know, you can always build another one. You can't build another you. If there was more time on the clock, I would consider swinging by the March Ridge or the Muldra warehouses. The other thing I could try to do, which might be interesting, is to try to drive home the backroads way, which is to take a left here instead of a right. Because you can also get back to Rosewood this direction. And that will help me fill up the map a little bit more. So probably sometime in the middle of the night, I'm going to lose power, I'd imagine. And yeah, I still need to get back before the power goes out. Exactly. You know, if my generators were running, and if I had like an outpost, because that's another thing that you can try to do, is set up outposts in towns that you visit. So like if I had a 2-story building... No, that's totally burned out. If I had a 2-story building in Muldra that was secured, you know, I could hypothetically leave the generator running at home, go out to Muldra for a day, sleep in Muldra, and then loot something in Muldra, and then drive home the next day. I just don't have those kind of outposts. But those are... I'm right around the time... survival time, about a month in, where... Generally after a month, depending on the size of the city that you start in, usually it takes like 4 to 6 weeks to really clean up most of the high value points of interest in the starting cities. That's not to say Louisville, because Louisville's huge, and Muldra's pretty big and has a lot of zombies, so it will take you a little bit longer in Muldra. But once your base is pretty well established, you can definitely reach a point where it's reasonable to start outposts, and to use outposts in various towns to extend your safe region of looting. Wow, there is a lot of... We have the people of the corn here. So I'm looking for a transmission station for the right turn into Rosewood. So it's coming up. And to give you an idea of what it will be, here's Rosewood, so you can see the turn is going to be roughly ahead. Because the southern road was already on the map. Did I? Oh, I meant to turn that on. How long does a generator last with full tank? That entirely depends on what you have plugged into it. The liters of fuel per hour vary depending on the amount of things that are drawing power. Oh, there's a sledgehammer right there in the road. I'll come back for it. Yeah, this right there, that yellow thing, well, it's my head's in the way. That right there is a shovel and a sledgehammer. Glad I came the southern path. I wouldn't have known about that otherwise. So that's the second to last tool I need. The last one being a jack. There's also, oh no, that's a kitchen knife. So if the only thing plugged into your generator is like a light bulb, your generator is going to explode from wear and tear well before it runs out of fuel. But if you have, you know, like 15 freezers attached to your generator, it's going to run out of fuel like constantly. So, totally varies upon what you're doing with it. This is a construction site. There's some water coolers in there and a lot of space. In this current patch, zombies won't break down chain link fences, just the gates. So that's a huge footprint of a that is relatively secured. This is the fire station with all the firemen and women wearing the bunker clothing. And the police station. This is, oh, there's a lot of vehicles in that lot. This is an area of town that I haven't seen, and then this is a bank. Or no, a court of justice, sorry, not a bank. This is the bank. And we're almost home. I'm a little drowsy, so I gotta be careful of the tails I pick up right around the end here. Because I'll have a little bit of fighting to do. Alright, so I'm just a little drowsy. I'm not tired or anything, so I probably don't need vitamins for this. Hey, I'm over here. Where'd that last zombie go? Hanging out by the car? Seriously, where'd she go? There were three of them. Hello, miss. I don't know. Well, as long as she's not, like, breaking down our walls, I don't care. I'm going inside. So we obviously still have power, you know, because, you know, lights are on or whatever. Oops. So we will, we'll be losing it soon. Not quite yet. So I'm going to turn on the generator. I feel comfortable leaving all the chips in there and coffee. That's, like, pretty nice emergency provisions. And then in my backpack, I have all of the Carpentry books. And yeah, the radio in the van is still on. I do that often. Very guilty. What I could do is... Oh, nope, don't start vehicle. What I could do is check my battery level to see if I've been burning up my batteries. If the car is running, yeah, remaining 97.47, it's fine. There is the concept of like an alternator in the game, so if your vehicle's running, you're charging your car. Good amount of garbage bags and other stuff. And then, of course, the tapes. I didn't mean to pull the wrench out, though. Oops. I think I need an additional recreation bookshelf. So for now, this is going to go on the ground. Probably can stop collecting leather jackets. I have quite a bit of them. Got a big old pile. So before I lose power, let's go ahead and turn one of the two generators on the roof on so that we can keep frozen stuff frozen. And then I think tomorrow we'll go for that sledgehammer. Too enticing not to do. So fuel is 0.36 liters an hour. I've really pared it down. I was at like a liter an hour or something like that. So, decreased our fuel cost considerably. And with the tapes that I have, that I grabbed from the VHS store, I will definitely be able to hit level 7 Carpentry without too much mindless grind, which is fantastic. So I think what I'll do is... I also want to finish the car tape that I had in there. So there's like multiple things to read at once. What was I doing with this filing cabinet? I forget. Oh, gun and... Okay, yeah, this filing cabinet could be used for the other reading stuff. I could just move that into position. Because now I have a formal gun locker. That was like an overflow, and I forgot to clean that up. And now this is full. Okay. We'll continue to have random gun stuff in here, because I don't have space for it. kind of surprising I haven't found a jack yet. Just one of those elusive things. It's not a rare item, so I'm sure I'll happen upon one sooner or later. When would be a good time for new players to start shooting? The easiest answer would be when you have enough ammunition to kill all the things that get attracted to you, which is a variable answer. And also, you know, I would say the first gun that you probably want to fire is a shotgun because it will level up your aiming much faster than the other firearms. And not to use rifles and not to use revolvers, but instead handguns. Handguns and shotguns are easier to use than revolvers. Actually, revolvers are fine, but don't avoid the rifles. Avoid rifled weapons because they are actually pretty challenging to aim and you won't hit things. So if you're in a big city, you're going to need a lot of shotgun rounds, and if you're out in the sticks, you won't. But enough shotgun rounds to kill what gets attracted to you, which would be, you know, where I'm living now. If I wanted to clear out Rosewood, I would say maybe 10 to 15 boxes of shells. But if you were in Louisville, there is no amount of shotgun rounds that exist in the map that will be enough to kill all the zombies in Louisville. But also still about 10 to 15 boxes, maybe up to 25 boxes if you're in a really densely populated part of town. Because you'll just, every time you fire, you attract more zombies to you. So, you know, you're definitely going to want enough shotgun rounds to deal with these swarms. So right now I have like 3 boxes, or 5 boxes rather, which is certainly not enough. It might be enough to clear out the remainder of Rosewood directly around my home, but that would be about the extent. Alright. So here we go. I'm curious if we're out of power yet. Yep. System's failing, network compromised for the power grid. So either the power's already out or it's about to go out. And one easy way to check is just to drive around and see if there's power elsewhere. Because if other buildings around me are unpowered, then yeah, the power's out. Let's go ahead and get back to the Sledgehammer. So, updating the priority. Go fetch the Sledgehammer. Joint, thank you for the resub, by the way. I don't remember what that third zombie looks like, but I'm assuming that's it. Maybe I'm wrong. So the Sledgehammer is going to allow me to break down the handrails to then board up, or I might not even board up because I don't need boards to block line of sight. So I might end up just looting a whole bunch of curtains and curtaining up the second story windows so nothing can see in. It's functionally useful to do that, but unless there's a lot of zombies that congregate around the outside of my base, it's unnecessary. It's just it's a barely necessary precaution. I'll put it that way. It's certainly not going to hurt me to have a little bit extra window coverage covered, but it's probably not going to make the difference between life and death. wasn't this turn, I don't think. No, it is this turn. Alright. I'm coming, Mr. Sledgehammer. It's pretty uncommon to find sledgehammers at roadside crashes. It's only ever happened to me a few times, so this is not a reliable way to find sledgehammers. Going to warehouses and hardware stores is the reliable way. You can find them this way, but it's pretty unusual. Usually at those roadside crashes, you're going to find shovels and picks. Picks are good weapons, but they don't do what sledgehammers do. And this road sucks, so maybe on my way back I don't take this road, because it's doing some damage to this van. Oops, that makes it worse. Partially because having driven through here before, the noise, the van pulled zombies that would otherwise be in the woods, like, into the road. And they congregated a little bit more where I had been. And also just, like, zombies shuffle around, so sometimes it's empty, sometimes it's clogged. And those tight roads, the ones that are, like, surrounded by trees, very much suck to traverse because of how few zombies it takes for them to block it entirely. So, taking my, my pills here. The zombie with the construction gear has leather gloves. Whoop, you got a little too close. There we go. Hey, that was the magic watch. I have electrical 1 now. And there was a machete on one of these bodies. I noticed, don't worry. Just had to kill her first. It was on you. Where is that? Come on, machete. I saw it. Ah, there it is. It's a not terrible condition. So most of the weapons in the game are, like, not two-hand sharp weapons. Okay, this map doesn't tell me anything. I'll hold on to it, though. So most of the weapons are, like, one-hand blunt, two-hand blunt. You know, like hammers are one-handed blunt, and then you have, you know, crowbars, which are two-handed blunt, baseball bats, so on and so forth. Which means it's, like, far easier to level up your one-handed and two-handed blunt. Axes count as axes, not sharp weapons. So there's very limited amount of two-hand sharp weapons. So it's not a skill that you usually can level up very much. Oh, man. I went high profile and, like, lured everything at me. Can I make my spear machete? Yeah, but maybe not right now. I'm doing other things. So my point is, as awesome as machetes and katanas are, the opportunity to have a supply of machetes and katanas is pretty limited. Which means that, in my opinion, they're best used once your maintenance skill is relatively high. Because if you use them, if you happen to find, like, a machete or a katana really early on, yeah, you'll be able to kill really effectively with it, but you'll break it, and then you won't be able to unbreak it. And you'll break it pretty quickly. Whereas if you wait a reasonable amount of time for your maintenance skill to level up, you'll have high enough level of maintenance skill that you won't break your weapons so quickly, allowing you to enjoy a two-handed weapon longer. So the more patient you are, potentially the more value there will be in utilizing it. So my current maintenance skill is almost level 2. And the higher that gets, the less damage that you do to your weapons when you use them. So it could be the difference of being able to kill 50 zombies with your katana versus like 150 zombies with your katana or machete. And they're very effective. In fact, katanas do more damage in this game than even firearms. So they're very effective weapons if you are in a bad situation where you're like surrounded and you need to fight a horde. Katanas can allow you to cut through that horde with remarkable efficiency. So they're also sometimes handy to have as like a backup weapon for when things go wrong and you're just like, well, I will try to cut my way out of this horde with a katana or die trying. That's, you know, often how I reserve katanas and the like. Oh, actually, there's 2 sledgehammers. There's one in this, oh, that's a leaf rake. Never mind. I thought for a second that was a sledgehammer. There's a lead pipe. Oh, boy. But here we go. Here's the sledge. And it's in pristine condition, too. Thank you for tuning in to Rad's Guide to Project Zomboid, which originally streamed live on Twitch April 18th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow zombie survivors.